Hey guys, thanks for joining me once again. It's blowing up a mighty storm outside. It's very, very windy. So if my internet goes down, I will be back. I will be back as soon as possible. But just giving you a bit of warning, just in case my internet's iffy at the best of times. Thank you, Mike, for gifting 1 membership. That's very kind of you before the stream started. Who's got that? Volpa girl or Yolpa girl? Yolpa girl? But welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. And yeah, 1 free membership for a month, courtesy of Mike. Thank you so much. So we're going to talk about Sebastian Rogers today. Oh, I think I've got some more gifted memberships here. Let me just go up a bit. Hey, Purple AJ has gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much. Incredibly generous. We've got Whispers in the Shadows, Swedish Mom, Kitty Cats. What else have we got? Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. We've got Rita, Kels, Christina, Linny, and Liz. Welcome you all. And you too get a month's free membership, courtesy of Purple AJ. Check out the members area. Check out the members tab. There's plenty of stuff in there. All right, so we are going to talk about Sebastian Rogers and just how far away this young man is from his own case. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. We have battle lines. I actually nearly called this live stream the Sebastian Rogers Battle Lines, but I thought that was maybe a little bit hyperbolic of me to do that. So, but it is. We've got these factions. We've got court cases. We've got Dog the Bounty Hunter, and we've got a missing young man whose disappearance is most probably a relatively straightforward case, honestly. But I don't know. The cases that I consider straightforward tend to be the ones that just blow up out of all proportion. You know, I'm thinking Jay Slater, straightforward case. Nicola Bulley, very straightforward case. And they got insane. They got insane for the length of time that those people were missing. But it's not nearly... Like Nicola Bulley was only missing for 23 days. Jay Slater was missing for 20-something days. But Sebastian Rogers has been missing for 6.5 months. So it's given this case plenty of momentum. So we're going to talk through what's happened in the last 24 hours or so. Those of you following the case closely, I'm sure will know that Bullhorn Betty was in court yesterday. Bullhorn Betty being on the side of Seth. Like I said, it was battle lines in court. There was, one group on one side of the courtroom and one group on the other side of the courtroom. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I am going to just show you a couple of seconds of it, though, because gives us a place to start, doesn't it? Gives us a place to start. But for those who've perhaps a little bit out of the loop of this case, let's start at the very beginning. Bullhorn Betty was accused by Katie Proudfoot and then the Bowersox, who is Chris Proudfoot's mother, Cassie, and his stepdad, Terry, of harassment and stalking. I've kept completely out of it. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know to what degree she's been stalking them or harassing them, if at all. All right. Because I don't watch her live streams, honestly. I used to watch the occasional one, but I haven't watched her at all on this case. And it's not that I dislike her. I just, we tend to be the opposite side of the fence for the cases that I know she's covered. So she's not a person that I go to. Let's just say that, for either information or entertainment. That said, I don't dislike her. I've no reason to dislike her. I just don't agree with some of her methods. But that doesn't mean to say that I don't think she should have a voice. That doesn't mean to say that I don't think that she should have a channel and express her own opinion. She doesn't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with her. All right. So I'm neutral, and I have kept out of it. However, she was in court yesterday because, for two reasons, actually. Two reasons. Thank you, Gamma, for the $10. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. She went looking for trouble. What, yesterday or just generally? Who knows? All right, so she was in court yesterday for two reasons. So a little bit after Katie and the Bowersox went to the judge and applied for a protection order, so did Chris Proudfoot. So in Tennessee, and I will show you this just to set the scene. Let me just get it up here. Let me just get it up here. Lost it. There we go. Nope, not that one. There we go. All right, I've got it. All right, let me just share this with you. All right, so I went looking. All right, so Katie and the Bowersox now have it confirmed by the judge that they do have orders of protection. Chris filed his order of protection after those three. So his is still ex parte, basically awaiting a hearing. So there's a hearing for Chris Proudfoot's order of protection, like whether the judge is going to grant it or not, on the 10th of October. So that was set yesterday. But, however, there's also now a criminal case against Bullhorn Betty because she's allegedly violated the orders of protection against, I don't know who, Katie or all four of them, I'm not sure. But there is a legal case against her. She was arrested. She spent a little bit of time in jail and she's out on bond. And the next hearing for a criminal case relating to the violation of the orders of protection, which changes the situation from one of a civil matter to one of a criminal matter, that was also set yesterday for October the 23rd. Okay. All right. All of them, against all of them. All right. Because she's continued to talk about them. So I went looking because I don't know anything about orders of protection. All right. As I said, I've kept out of the drama. I don't care, honestly. I don't care what Bullhorn Betty does. But this is interesting to me from a legal perspective because how this plays out could have a bearing on how family members of missing people are treated in future. All right. Especially in Tennessee, because, of course, we've got the Summer Wells case, which is very high profile in Tennessee, and Summer's parents and family had a lot of harassment against them. Same people harassing them, saying that they were guilty and blah, blah, blah. But look, guys. All right. Let me just take a step back and read this first. Let's read this first. So I'm trying not to put my opinion in this too much. I'm trying to just stick to what we know. But it is an important case, potentially, for Tennessee. All right, orders of protection, how they work in Tennessee. Now, I just got this off some, lawyer's website. It just was easy to read, easy to understand. All right. We're often asked the questions, how does a protection order work? What's the difference in a restraining order and an order of protection? So the Proudfoots and the Bowersox have got orders of protection. They've not got restraining orders. They've got orders of protection. Protection orders in Tennessee are a complicated subject. The attorneys at Legal Powers of Nashville and the surrounding areas are prepared to help you. Like I said, this is just some lawyer's website, but I like their text. It was easy to understand. So you can get an order of protection. Temporary order is issued, and you can do that ex parte. So you can basically say, I need an order of protection, go and file one. It's temporary. And then if you need a longer term one, then it has to go before a judge. Okay, so temporary orders are usually issued prohibiting the other party from contacting the victim, and a hearing for a longer term order of protection will be set for 15 days after the issuance. The harm, threat, or harassment needs to be proven in the hearing with witnesses or other evidence, and a judge will sign off on the long term final order of protection if it's granted. So what does an order of protection do? So a lot of these orders of protection are relating to domestic violence, to domestic incidents. So let's say current or former spouses, one stalking the other or one threatening the other. But obviously Bullhorn Betty is not a family member of either the Proudfoots or the Bowersox. So we have to kind of go down here because orders of protection also can relate to cases of SA or S harassment, but also stalking. So this is what the Bowersox and the Proudfoots are claiming. She could do jail time. However, it's unlikely that she's going to get jail time. But it's possible for the violation. It's possible if the judge wanted to make an example of her. Okay, so these are also available to victims of SA and stalking. Actions that are considered stalking could help you obtain an order, including following: repeated and unwanted messages, phone calls and emails, vandalism of personal property. Now, I don't believe that Bullhorn Betty has done that. Leaving unwanted gifts at your house. I don't know if she's done that or not. Showing up where you are or monitoring your activity. Now, look, laws in Tennessee, like laws everywhere, like laws in my country, have to play catch up when we're considering social media and just how cases, legal cases, criminal cases, missing persons cases blow up on social media. The laws were written at a time when there was no social media. Social media as we know it has only been out for a handful of years. Like, you know, the constitutions, the Human Rights Act, if you're in Europe. Like in the US, you've got Constitution. In Europe, we're protected by the Human Rights Act. Okay. So the laws against stalking and harassment and, you know, when does your freedom of speech or your freedom of expression end and it becomes harassment? All right. It's a fine line. In Europe, where I am, Article 10 of the Human Rights Act tells us that we have freedom of expression everywhere, whether it's in our lives, whether it's on social media, whether it's through artwork or dance or whatever. However, there's limits to it, that you've got to exercise your own personal responsibility. So when that your freedom of speech, your freedom of expression moves over that line and becomes harassing to someone else and potentially criminal, then that's where your rights end. And I believe it's the same for the First Amendment in the US Constitution, that it's not an absolute. Yes, you are under the First Amendment, you're American. I don't need to tell you this. I'm not going to tell you your Constitution, but you have freedom of speech. But that does not give you the right to harass people. You can't just go along saying everything you want. You have to exercise personal responsibility. So freedom of speech is never absolute, but it's where that line is drawn that is the debated point. So nowadays with social media, like, you know, the US Constitution, even the Human Rights Act were written at a time when there was no such thing as social media. social media as we know it has only been around here for a few years. So, constitutions, overarching rights that we have as citizens could not possibly foresee the world that we live in now. All right. So we've got legal statute, and then we've got case law that you can draw on. And when you have a case where somebody, i.e. in this case Bullhorn Betty, is saying that under the First Amendment, she has a right to say whatever she wants, and she believes the judge is wrong for issuing the order of protection against her, so that she has to behave herself. So she's fighting it. She doesn't believe that the judge was in the right. She believes she's got a good case, and I'll show you a little clip from Bullhorn Betty in a minute. Having said that, again, it's not absolute. Your rights to freedom of speech is not absolute. So when it moves over to stalking someone else, harassing someone else, no, you can't just say whatever you want. You can't incite violence by words. Right? You can't come online and tell people to harass someone else. You can't incite someone else to do something that's potentially criminal or potentially violent. You cannot. All right. But again, I haven't followed Bullhorn Betty. I've kept out of all of this. I don't know exactly what she's done. I've not inquired as to exactly what she's done. I'm letting the courts deal with it. I'm a bystander 4,000 miles away. I'm a bystander with interest, looking at how this plays out, how this is dealt with in the courts in Tennessee, because it potentially has knock-on effects for cases in future, not necessarily just in Tennessee. It depends on how the law is interpreted, doesn't it? But with social media, the law has had to play catch up, whether that's statute, new laws have had to be written, and new case law is being, it's redefining in some ways. It's redefining how we interpret those statutes in a lot of cases. New case law is being written. New precedents are being set because of social media. So, these are just examples. The court could find other hostile or threatening actions to be considered stalking as well. Now, apparently, Bullhorn Betty has been online, like trash talking, okay, and that's provable. Like the judge can just take a look at it and say, yeah, that's crossed the line. Therefore, I'm going to issue this order of protection. But because she's not agreed with it and she's violated it, then she's fallen foul of criminal law as well as civil law. So that's the problem that she faces. Again, this is not really about Bullhorn Betty. I'm interested in this as a potential precedent being set for future cases, and how our court's going to deal with the social media aspect of missing persons cases when you have people online who develop their own suspect list. And look, I've got suspect lists for various cases that they're not based on, they're based on my own research. They're not based on what the cops have told me. All right. But in my opinion, I don't cross the line. In my opinion, I say, look, for this and this reason, I believe this person, in my opinion, is a suspect. This is a red flag. This is a red flag. This is a red flag. What I don't do, however, is, turn up at places. I never go real life. I don't send horrible messages, either in public or in private, to family members. So I believe that I sit on the right side of the line. However, it's where you draw that line. So I'm interested in this case for that reason. Where does that line get drawn? Where does that line get drawn? Thank you, Dulcie, for gifting 10 memberships. Thank you so much. Let's have a look here. We've got Curvy Barbie, Just Samantha, Lou, Cammy, Jenna, Heather Soul, Mandy TNT. Cut me off. It's cut me off. Let me just go back up a little bit. I can't go back up for some reason. Oh, there we go. All right. So we've also got Fun Tuski, Blacks, Jennifer. Welcome you all. Welcome. Get a month's free membership courtesy of Dulcie. So we've got 21 new members in this live stream. That's great. Okay, so these are just some examples. The perpetrator is required to pay all court proceedings, attend counselling programs about violence and substance abuse. I'm assuming that this is in relation to domestic cases. What happens at a protection order hearing? Order of protection is a civil hearing. What this means is each side will have an opportunity to present his or her side for the hearing. The petitioner, the person seeking the protection order goes first. He or she can testify, present evidence, and call witnesses to try to prove why an order of protection is required. So, again, this has already happened for Katie and the two Bowersocks. But Chris, he's still awaiting a hearing, and that will be on October the 10th. So, as an important note, although a protection order hearing is a civil hearing, the testimony and evidence presented may be used against the respondent if there is a criminal case stemming from the same facts. So in Betty's case, there now has become a criminal case stemming from the same facts because she's violated the order that the judge issued. So let's go down. The consequences of violating an order. Violation of an order of protection in Tennessee will result in immediate arrest by the police. They don't need a warrant. They don't need to chase you down. They can, once they find you, they can arrest you. And that's what happened to Betty. And she spent a little bit of time in jail. She's out now. She's out living at large on bond. Violating the temporary order can occur before a hearing and will result in arrest and jail time. A violation of the extended order, so once the hearing has been held and the judge issues that order, it's a misdemeanor and results in a fine of up to $2,500. And this will be per person. This will be per victim. So if she's violated the order against 3 or possibly 4 people, that's a fair wedge of dollar, isn't it? That's a fair wedge. If the judge wanted to make a big example of her, if she lost the case and the judge wanted to make an example of her, and a jail sentence of up to 11 months and 29 days. So that's the maximum that you can serve in a county jail. I only know that because of Don Wells. That's what Don Wells had to say. It was a maximum that the judge could give him for county jail. He had to do that jail time, if you remember, in Summer's case. And Summer's case descended, like Sebastian's has, into nothing about Summer and all about her parents and all about the drama. This has descended into... This YouTuber now is facing potential jail time because of events here. If you've received an order of protection notice, or if you've been charged with a criminal offence or under criminal investigation and want a strong defence, then you got to contact these guys. All right, so then it becomes an advert. All right, I just wanted to show you that, just to, so that we could all be clear on what we're actually talking about here. So if Bullhorn Betty loses in the criminal matter relation to the violation of the protection order, she loses, and she believes she's got a strong case to win. So we'll see. So that criminal matter, the hearing for that is October 23rd. All right. Okay. All right. So let's all be clear here. All right, I'm just going to show you a little bit of this hearing.
Monday, September.
Why can I not hear that? Can you hear that?
October the 21st.
I can't hear it. Hold on. You can't hear it now because I've stopped it, but for some reason I can't hear it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, that takes care of the criminal matter.
Can you hear that? Very low. It is very low. It's very, 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 very low. But for some reason, I cannot hear it. How bizarre. Hold on, what's my audio settings done? Let me just go into my settings here. All right, let's see.
Now, as to the issues before the court.
All right, I'm going to pull my microphone out.
There is pending a Rule 60.02 motion filed by the defendant, Mr. Griffin, in these order protection hearings as it relates to the order protection on Terry.
Can you hear it now? All right, let's try again.
Bowersox Senior, Maddie Bowersox, and Katie.
I can't hear it. I need to be able to hear it to know what to show you. I don't understand. Oh, there we go. I got.
Pending is still pending.
All right, all right, all right. I think we're rolling. I think we're rolling. I think we're back in business here. Okay.
Christopher Proudfoot.
All right, so it's very, 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 very low. I'm sorry about that. It was someone just filming it. Like they had a news crew had a camera in. I think it was Fox News had a camera in. But the judge delayed the hearing because it wasn't just Betty's case that was being held. It was like a bunch of other cases. So the news were just live streaming it all. And the judge had to kind of stop and say, look, all these other people who were showing up for these like random hearings, they don't want to be on your live stream. So anyway, all right. So this is Betty's lawyer. There's Betty. And we're going to go all the way through to the end. So, basically, you didn't miss anything. It was only short when this case actually came, to the forefront here, and he called Betty's name out. What we heard was the situation is all continued. 10th of October for Chris Proudfoot's hearing, his order of protection against Betty. So his hearing will be on the 10th of October. And then the criminal matter will be on the 23rd of October. All right, so let's hear the judge talk about that.
Your Honor, our Rule 60 was intended to cover all of those orders of protection.
There's 4 of them that are listed there.
Thank you.
If not, they're all listed on the sheet. The only issue is the matter regarding Christopher Proudfoot is still an ex parte order, as it's never had a hearing on that day. And so any motion to reconsider or set that aside would be premature, because we've never had an issue. We've not had a hearing on that matter. It was set for last Thursday, and it was continued on to this Thursday. So that Rule 60.02 motion.
So Betty was a bit annoyed because she was there with her lawyer ready to fight these orders of protections. So the judge said this is premature because, you know, Chris Proudfoot's not even had his hearing yet. So they got to come back.
To reconsider judgments as to Mr. Proudfoot is hereby denied, because that is premature in its filing. And so Mr. Frizzell, if you'll do an order as it relates to Christopher Proudfoot, I think his case is case number 3893, 2024 civil, because it's premature at this time. Also in front of me is the state's motion to clarify the intent of the order of protection. The order of protection speaks for itself. It's pretty plain in its language, but it covers what it doesn't cover. Mr. Frizzell, you had, in full disclosure, I met with counsel for Ms. Griffin for the state of Tennessee and for the Bowersox and Ms. Proudfoot in chambers before coming out. The parties have asked this court to set this matter to a hearing date separately than from today. You know, in my consideration, I will grant this continuance, but it's only going to be for a short period of time, because we have order of protections involved. These order of protections that are filed are in effect, as the court sees them, they're in effect currently, as except to Mr. Proudfoot's, which is an ex parte, and it remains in effect as an ex parte until we have a hearing on all of these matters at the same time. Council will get their calendars out. Mr. Moore, are you going to represent, you and Mr. Cassie going to represent Val?
All right, so they get the calendars out. So I'm telling you, it was the 10th of October for the civil, and then the 23rd of October for the criminal element that Betty's got herself in. So let's zoom right to the end so that you can watch this yourself. The link to this is in the description box. So let's see the battle lines here. So on one side, we have Seth. There's Seth. Some rando, I don't know who she was. Betty went and sat down. Then we've got Tony. Where's Dog the Bounty Hunter? Where's Nick the Hat? Where's the 24 investigators? Have you heard about the 24 investigators that are now on the case? Have you heard about those? Yeah, apparently Dog the Bounty Hunter is bringing 24 investigators to Tennessee. But they're not going to be tramping through fields and stuff like that because they believe Sebastian's alive. Therefore, I don't know, maybe they're going to be tying people down and giving them truth serums. Who knows? Oh, yeah. By Dog. Yeah, by Dog. Dog the Bounty Hunter. Not heard about that? Oh, well, all right. I can play you that clip as well. All right, let's just listen to a few seconds of what Betty said after the court hearing. So I haven't gone to Betty's channel. All right, hold on. I just got this from a clip channel. So this is someone called Clipper. All right, I'm only going to play you a few seconds of this. But this was last night after the court hearing.
You were going to find out everything I said, a month ago, is going to come to fruition. Hey, me and you, Kendra, Natalie, it's nice to see you all. Jailhouse Betty is free again. Free, I say, free. Tammy, it's nice to see you. Stephanie, housewife, it's nice to see you. Donna, Bonnie's Journey.
Oh, she deleted it, did she? All right, okay. She deleted it.
Hendersonville, Tennessee, and has not been seen again after being locked inside the home securely. He evaporates into thin air, and nobody's seen him since. So only one content creator is being picked on, right? Only one content creator is being picked on. It seems awfully strategic. The one content, now I don't even like being called a YouTuber. It drives me nuts when they call me a YouTuber. I'm not.
That's normal speed. Maybe this clipper person has sped it up a little bit. Yeah, Seth was wearing a braid. Yeah. I can slow it down. Maybe it'll put Betty's voice to normal speed.
A YouTuber. I am on multiple social media platforms. I cover true crime. I'm a journalist. I am a victim right advocate. I'm an activist of political leanings and activist for children. We do a lot for our cases, a lot, but the Constitution is what we lean on the most in my business. The Constitution should not.
Oh, she didn't delete it. She deleted the parts. She said the names. All right. Okay, cool. And then put it back up. All right. But this is just the little bit that I'm interested in about the Constitution.
Be infringed upon from our government. And that's exactly what we're facing right now is this infringement. And as you guys know, I am pushing back very hard on this very specific constitutional infringement by a local government. And
all right, so it will be down to the judge to decide as to whether her constitutional right here has been violated. Like she's, you know, they've set these protection orders against her. She didn't agree with it. She's violated them. So now it will be down to the judge to determine whether Betty's right and that her constitutional right to say whatever she wants on the internet, it's all fine, even if it's, you know, could be deemed as harassing to the parents of a missing child who, as far as we know, are completely innocent. So they are victims. They are victims. So victim rights advocate talking smack about victims. All right, let's go back to the end of this clip here and listen to what she says about that situation.
There won't be a whole cattle call of people. You know, this was there was like literally a lot of people. Everybody's like, look at all the people in the courtroom and all this and that. And it's like, well, we did have people there for this case and this case only. They changed the rules of the courthouse for our hearing. So they made sure nobody could bring bags in to the whole courthouse because they couldn't manage which one went to what courtroom and whatever. Hey, Seth, it's nice to see you. So we ended up not being able to take bags or cell phones in. So I was able to bring my pad of paper because, again, I thought I was going to be sitting at a desk and I was going to be taking notes and being part of my being very well and in tune with my defense, because at the end of the day, I know what happened. You all know what happened because you guys watched it in real time. We know where my commentary is. We know I've never crossed the line with my commentary. We know I've never threatened these people. We know I've never threatened them with any type of weapon. So it's.
I don't know if that's been accused that she's threatened them with a weapon. I don't know whether that's been accused, but the judge granted the orders of protection. So there must be some evidence that the judge saw that made him believe that she was harassing the people who now have got orders of protection against Bullhorn Betty. Again, I'm very interested in this. Nothing to do with the drama, nothing to do with the creator herself, but I'll be very interested to see how this plays out because it has potential knock-on effects for future cases. How this judge handles this matter is very relevant to future cases in Tennessee. We cover a lot of cases on this channel in Tennessee, but also potentially, elsewhere. That maybe people need to be just a little bit more responsible in their reporting because
it's like, everything is obvious. I mean, you can just go to my channel and watch through it. And what do you get? You get me losing after being stalked. I say some rough around the edges things. So what? I'm allowed to. You know that the Constitution, the First Amendment, actually allows me to be repugnant.
So the First Amendment allows people to be repugnant. So, yeah, I don't envy this judge. I don't envy this judge. You know, he's basically got to battle the US Constitution now and decide where that line is drawn. Interesting. So, yeah, I guess you can be repugnant if you say this is just my opinion. However, if it can be deemed as harassing, she went to Tennessee. She had some kind of altercation with Terry Bowersox. You know, the thing is, the Bowersox and the Profos have not taken this lying down, have they? Like the Wells did. Like the Wells didn't attempt to, you know, take this to court. Neither did the Laundries. So again, this is all very interesting to me from a legal perspective. Now, the news did pick up on this. I'm going to play you a short news clip that I think just about every channel that I've seen that have covered this have played it. But Seth did a little piece to camera. So, you know, his team were all very proud of him for what he said. So let's play that, shall we? Yeah, let's play that.
She violated that. And a missing boy's parents appearing in court today, but it did not bring them any closer to finding their son. Sebastian Rogers disappeared from Hendersonville back in February. His family was in the courtroom today for a YouTuber accused of harassing and stalking Sebastian's mother and step-grandparents. Now, an order of protection banned Andra Griffin, who's also known as Bullhorn Betty, from having any sort of contact with the family, directly or indirectly. Court documents also claim she violated that. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry was in the Sumner County courtroom to try to get both sides of this story.
Sebastian Rogers' mother, stepfather, and step-grandparents have largely remained out of the media, but they claim Bullhorn Betty has stalked and harassed them. The courtroom was split today into two sides. The YouTuber and Sebastian's father, Seth, sat on one side. His mom, Katie, stepfather, Chris, and
Doesn't Chris look different? I didn't recognize him. He looks so different. I don't know whether it's because he's not got a hat on or whether he's grown his hair a bit. He's shaved. He just looks so different. He looks so tired. He just looks absolutely exhausted. He does. He looks heartbroken. He looks over it. They both do. They both just look absolutely over it. They look like victims to me. I don't know. They just look like victims to me. Yeah, I think he's like when he did the interviews to I can't remember all the channels that there was Chronicles of Olivia, there was a news channel that they did a to camera piece to. Didn't he have more facial hair? Maybe. But yeah, he just looks exhausted.
Step-grandparents were on the other side. Court documents claim Bullhorn Betty violated the order of protection by mentioning the family on a live stream. The brief hearing ended with the judge saying the matters would be heard on October 10th. Seth Rogers tells me it was frustrating to sit in a courtroom while his son is still missing.
It is extremely frustrating that I have to come here to support somebody, which I don't mind coming to support somebody that's supporting my goal of finding my son. But the fact that I have to come here because four people, want to put restraining order against somebody who's just trying to find my son, and yet.
No, this wasn't about putting, slapping an order of protection against somebody trying to find Sebastian. It was because she crossed the line, arguably, allegedly, in the judge's opinion. And look, Seth didn't have to go there, did he? Didn't have to go. If he had other things to do, if You know, why is he not out looking for Sebastian? You might say. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Sebastian is supposed to be her son as well.
Seth added that he believes Andra is
So Seth is fueling the fire once again. Like little dig at Katie there. Little tiny dig at Katie. Like, you know, it's supposed to be her son as well, but yet she's here, you know, taking shots at a member of my team. Okay, all right. That's the way you want to interpret it. Who am I to argue? Who am I to argue? Seth needs a real job. Well, he has a job. Has his jail job fallen through now? Has he resigned from his jail job? Yeah, my son. It's my son. I named him. It's my son. Yeah. Seth has lost my respect as well. I had a huge amount of time for Seth at the beginning, a huge amount of respect for him. You know, for, you know, gathering the troops together, getting people out looking, getting people talking, getting flyers out. I had a huge amount of respect for him. And I'm sorry, I can't support. I don't believe he's got anything to do with the disappearance of Sebastian, but I cannot support the way that he's behaved. I just can't.
only exercising her First Amendment right and has not done anything illegal. I also spoke with Sebastian's stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, who says he has no comment at this time. In Gallatin, Caitlin Quisenberry, News 2.
And yeah, no comment is, I think, very apt. Very apt. Seth was creepy from day one. You see, I didn't see that. I mean, I know I've heard from people who met him early on, who said that they got bad vibes from him, but I didn't see that. I couldn't see that early on. But yeah, my opinion is much different now than it was. All right, so let's move gears here and talk about Dog the Bounty Hunter, who wasn't in court because he's not in Tennessee yet. So I'm going to play you, if I can find it, because I've not got this lined up here, so I have to go and find it. Nick the Hat. Here he is. Oh. I think it's this one. 16 hours ago. So this is Nick the Hat. Don't expect me to pronounce his surname, please. You know what I'm like for mispronouncing. I'm not very good at this, but this is Nick the Hat's channel. Now, I don't think I've got this in the description box because I didn't intend to play it, but I'll put this in the description box after, and I'm going to put this here in the chat as well. I'll put this in the description box after the live stream. So it's just a little bit about Dog the Bounty Hunter that I want to play. Nick the Cap. If I ever go missing, please do not look for me. Social media. Oh dear. Let the police do their job. Well, I don't have a timestamp for this, so I'm just going to have to click through to try and find it.
Back it up. A day or two.
Oh, that's really slow now, isn't it? Right.
Before that, we had gotten a message from somebody that took a screenshot that said it was from the Proudfoot, Mr. being by phone. Dog had asked that we call from the tip line. So we call him.
Hold on, I'm just going to try and find
right, searching for anything, because we are going under the assumption that Sebastian
is
alive.
Right at the beginning. It's right at the beginning. All right. Let's do this. Right at the beginning.
And right now, it is believed that the last time he was seen was being put to bed, according to his mother, on the 25th. The next morning, when she went to wake him up for school, he just wasn't there. So obviously, Dog has 24 people in Tennessee right now as we speak.
So there you go. There's the quote. Dog has 24 people in Tennessee as we speak. So they're actually right there. 24 people. Dog has brought in 24 people to Tennessee. Where are they? Dog's not there. Dog's not there yet. I don't know. Plane delayed, other duties, I don't know. But yeah, 24 people. Well, where are they then? All right.
And they're not out in like fields, right?
Not out in the fields. Why are they not out in the fields? Not in the fields looking for Sebastian. No, not out in the fields where people could see them. So we've only got his word for it that they're there at all, haven't we?
Right, searching for anything, because we are going under the assumption that Sebastian is alive. That's the assumption. That's the overwhelming consensus
All right, okay. I can go with this for now.
within the groups investigating, whether it be officials or private investigators or contractors or assets or anybody else that's coming down, right?
Anybody else that's coming down? What, like these people to, I don't know, accost people and get them to give, you know, truth serums and all the rest of it. All right. So there you go. There's the quote that somebody asked me to find. So there's Dog the Bounty Hunter with 24 people in Tennessee. Who's paying the 24 people? Who knows? Who knows? But you're not going to see them. You're not going to see them. They're out in the, you know, they're not out in the fields, out in the wilds, getting brambles and burn and all the rest of it, running from snakes. They're not going to be there out in the field. So don't try and find them. So why do they need to be in Tennessee? If this is a desk operation, you know, they're doing, you know, investigative work about, I don't know, potential suspects, whatever. They could do that from anywhere, couldn't they? But no, 24 people, that's a big team. That's a big team. So where's the money coming from? I've no idea. I've no idea. I'm not buying this. I am not buying this. You know, if Dog the Bounty Hunter turns up, he actually turns up. Nick here later on in this stream here says that they're going to do a press conference when, you know, Dog gets there. They're going to do a press conference. So maybe we'll meet the 24 then. Are these just 24 TikTokers? These just 24 people who want 15 minutes of fame? Do the 24 people even exist? I don't know. I don't know. I got a lot of questions about the 24 people. Thank you. You're so kind. You are so kind. Thank you so much for the €199. You are so kind. I'm not buying any of this. No, I'm not buying this organization. What were they called? At Night, I think. I'm not buying that they're going to use all these truth serums. There's absolutely no way that they could do that. They wouldn't get a physician or a hospital anywhere in the United States that would agree. So they'd have to, I don't know, they'd have to kidnap them and then, I don't know, take them abroad somewhere, take them overseas somewhere where maybe it was, you know, the law's a little bit looser. And, you know, they may not mind that you're going to give someone truth serums and, you know, barbiturates and benzos and all the rest of it to try and get them to tell you the truth. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. So neither is SF Investigates. I want to read you a couple of SF Investigates tweets. He's not buying it either. All right, here we are. This is FS Investigates. He is a private investigator. He's worked on a few cases in Tennessee. He's currently in Tennessee at the moment working on Holland Snap's case. Covered Holland Snap several times on this channel. You know, genuine private investigator. He worked on Kylie Rodney's case. He worked on Riley Strain's case, also a Tennessee case. So he's been making comments about Bullhorn Betty, who he's had arguments with, and he's made comments about Nick. So this is SF Investigates on Bullhorn Betty. My prediction for Bullhorn Betty is 6 contempt charges for violating orders of protection. Tennessee's sentencing law on violation states that the judge shall impose the least severe measure necessary to achieve the purpose for which the sentence is imposed. I believe she will receive 10 days per violation to be served consecutively, so a total of 60 days in county jail. This is just his prediction. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. With credit for 2 days' time served. This is a contempt charge that only requires the judge to find a preponderance of evidence, which means it's more likely than not that a violation occurred. I also think she may face additional charges for further violations. Additional violations would be sentenced at 30 days or more per violation. This is all my opinion, but I'm certain BHB is going to jail. Again, the reason why I'm interested in this is because I want to see what the judge does. This is a contempt charge for violating a judge's order. Okay, you, what's that? FAFO. F around, I don't know, with a judge's order, and you better clear your calendar because you're going to go to jail. All right, so that's what he said about Bullhorn Betty. And then he's had a lot to say about this ridiculous giving people truth serums. He's had a lot to say about that. I showed that on a previous live stream, but he's out there for Holland Snap. I'll actually show you that first. So he is actually out there in Tennessee for Holland Snap. Holland Snap is still missing. Holland Snap, tiny, look like the size of a child, but 19 years old, went missing, a year ago now. And it is known that a 51-year-old man assaulted her. He's currently in jail, but on unrelated charges. And SF Investigates is a retained PI on behalf of Holland's family. So the search continues for Holland Snap, now 20 years old, missing from Kingsport. Holland has been missing since October 2023. So a year now, almost a year. The last 2 days, we have followed up on leads, interviewed people, searched and collaborated with law enforcement to get closer to finding Holland. The good news is the 51-year-old male who viciously beat her, which multiple people knew about and failed to help her or call 911, is back in jail as of a couple of days ago and looks like he will be there a while. A pressure campaign against those that hold knowledge is beginning, and only one smart witness will get a deal. All right, so are you listening? I'm going to do a video, either a video or a live stream, I'm not decided yet, on Layla Santinello, like the updates on her case, and also Holland, both missing from Kingsport. Layla Santinello has been missing since June of 2023, and then Holland from October 2023. All right, so SF, as well as being out there for Holland, he has met with Chris. He's met with Chris Profoot, and he's put, like, SF. I've been showing these tweets quite a lot because he's put together, because he's done search and rescue and stuff. He's put together some grids, some kind of search maps for Sebastian, so that people can use them if they want to. So he's adjusted his maps based on actually going out there, walking around the area with Chris, actually seeing the area, because it is really frustrating. It's really frustrating trying to get an idea of a location just based on maps. It's not too bad if you can go down to street level, but just based on maps, you just don't get a feel for the foliage, the elevation, that you just don't get a feel for it at all. So now that SF has actually been out there on the ground, just doing a recce, can you hear the rain? I don't know whether my microphone's right next to the window. It's hammering the window. It was hailstoning this morning. Can you believe it? It was hailstoning this morning at 8 o'clock this morning. Has anybody watched the movie? What's it called? The Day After Tomorrow. Go and watch the movie Day After Tomorrow. It all started with hailstones. That's what I thought about. All right. Okay, I'm going to adjust some of the zones on the previous search map for Sebastian Rogers that I created after thoroughly walking and driving through the area with Chris, including the house, viewing the neighbours' camera locations, elevation changes, because of course we can, like, I've got a little map on which houses have the cameras based on what we heard on the dispatch audio, but the actual, which house, you've got about the location, the direction it's in, and all that stuff. What kind of camera is it? That kind of stuff you can't get from a map. Elevation changes and other private investigative details. I feel I now have a much better understanding of the area. I receive full cooperation throughout. I can say with 100% certainty that Katie and Chris deeply miss Sebastian and are desperate for him to be found. They have been completely cooperative with credentialed and licensed professionals who have genuine intentions. So he's done the area with Chris. So I'm going to look forward to seeing SF Investigates maps if he's able to make them public. So that's related to Holland that we've just read. All right. This is a little bit more kind of drama ridden, but this is about Nick. So it really doesn't like Nick. The last 3 to 4 days have been an ongoing real-time demonstration that investigation, not assumptions, are what truly matters. Nick and his agency. I mean, is that at night website? Is that Nick's? I'm getting the feel, excuse me, that's Nick's. That he's just made this website. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems very, well, it's not real to me. Just doesn't seem real. Doesn't seem real. Nick and his agency continue to insist that either Chris or I are lying about being retained for the case. Nick points out that I flew to Tennessee and I myself tweeted that I was retained and paid to be here. Okay, which is true. Nick claims to have 24 investigators on the case, plus dog. That's you heard him. You heard from Nick's own mouth that dog has brought 24 investigators to Tennessee. So we've got Dog the Bounty Hunter, plus 24, plus Nick, and then we've got Seth, we've got Tony, and we've got Bullhorn Betty. What a dream team. Dream team. You know, if they all turned up to support Betty, that would be the entire side of a courtroom. That truly would be battle lines. All right. Okay, so Nick claims to have 24 investigators on the case, plus dog and former attorney generals. Cool. But they fooled themselves into believing what they wanted to hear, not what the evidence shows. Was this real-time demonstration planned? No. Did I let it play out once I realised how amateur this group was? Yes. So, I don't quite know what he's talking about here. I'm assuming it's some things Nick has said. Maybe, because I haven't been following what Nick has been saying. Over a month ago, on August 7th, long before Nick and his team got involved in the Sebastian Rogers case, I purchased a ticket to come to Tennessee to further investigate the disappearance of Holland Snap, a case where I'm retained and a paid investigator. When I mentioned I was heading to Nashville, troll accounts began accusing me of coming to seek attention, wrongly assuming I was coming for Sebastian's case. And he's never been a PI on Sebastian's case. He's been making, comments on Twitter, talking about Sebastian's case. He put together some maps, as I said, for people to use, if you are out there and you want to just look more closely at potential search areas, then there you go. He's put some maps out, but he's not a paid retained PI on the case and never has been. All right. So I corrected them, clarifying I was coming as a retained and paid investigator, though no one asked me if I was coming specifically for Sebastian's case. More than 24 investigators and not one of them asked that question. Some of my followers correctly pointed out that I have multiple ongoing cases in Tennessee. He does. And I openly agreed, trying to make the situation clear. Instead of investigating, Nick and Dog's dream team started group texts with Chris, Katie, and me, wanting to know if I was an official investigator. Because I was flying to Tennessee and because they had been informed that I was retained. No one informed them of this. They jumped to conclusions without investigating, the same conclusions they're jumping to in Sebastian's case. So if you remember what Dog the Bounty Hunter said on Ashley Banfield's channel, you know, when he was on there with Sean Rogers. And if you need a reminder, I can always get that up and play that too, if you would like. All right, so jump to conclusions in Sebastian's case. Without any investigation or gathering evidence, we mutually decided not to answer them. Respect and trust is earned. So Chris, Katie, and didn't comment when these weirdos started to text them. Yes, I talked with Chris. Yes, I went to their home in Hendersonville and had a great meeting. Yes, I agreed that if they decide to call on me, I will help in any way I can. Yes, I would like to be involved in the upcoming search and rescue recovery efforts. Is there actual upcoming search, rescue and recovery efforts? Are there any actual searches that are up and coming? I suspect law enforcement will go back on the ground at least for a couple of days in the fall once the foliage has died down. I suspect they will, but I don't know whether they've got there's actually anything planned at the moment. We spend a lot of time going over the case, examining the home, potential walking paths, the environment and topography of the area, camera locations and other crucial investigative data needed for search efforts. You will see dogs people searching before anyone will see Chris and Katie. Fact. Okay, cool. Yes, Michelle, they're going back out. Who's going back out? Who's going back out? All right. Okay. Just because Nick decided to form an LLC and claims to have 24 investigators working the case. Well, no, actually, Nick said these were dogs investigators. It was Dog that brought these 24 investigators to Tennessee. That's what Nick said last night. Doesn't entitle him to answers he demands via unsigned text messages or creepy and weird YouTube/Twitter lives. It doesn't mean anyone has to give him or his unlicensed agency any information. Attached is proof that I purchased my tickets in early August, well before this recent situation arose. Also attached is one of the group texts from his team, filled with incorrect assumptions. When I leave the Holland Snap case in a few days, I will return to Nashville for a few more days. Who knows what I will do or which case I will be involved in next. But I'll let those who need to know when the time is right. As most of you who follow me already know, I am very transparent. Nothing, not to brag, but I am so transparent that I've even been called an internet PI by a now very well restrained unlicensed paralegal who attended the who's who of bottom 10 unaccredited trade schools. Who's he referring to that? Is he referring to Betty? I don't know who's referring to that. But this is one of the text messages that were Katie, Chris and Steve received from Nick's team, or is it Dog's team? Right. I don't know who's the captain of this team. So he's referring to Betty, is he? Okay. So hello, Mrs. Proudfoot and Mr. Fisher. I am on Dog the Bounty Hunter's high-risk fugitive task force. Cool. All right. So Sebastian Rogers is now a fugitive. All right. Cool. All right. I'm sure you know we're aiding in the search for Sebastian. We have been informed that you have retained Mr. Fisher, whose cell is blah. He made it clear that he will be in Tennessee. Is he an official investigator, i.e., does he represent you and Mrs. Proudfoot? I'll be in town Monday, and it would help if I could coordinate with Mr. Fisher. Thank you, stay safe and well. All right. So this is from Dog the Bounty Hunter's high-risk fugitive task force. This is somebody who wants to meet up, asking questions about SF investigators and wants to meet up. Why? Why does this unnamed person from Dog the Bounty Hunter's high-risk fugitive task force want to meet with Chris and Katie? Because, again, I didn't plan to show this, but But played it the other day. I asked this question for a reason. Hold on, let me find it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. From 5.
As a parent, it pains me.
All right. This is Dog the Bounty Hunter and Seth on Banfield from a few nights ago. All right. So bear in mind that there is an investigator from Dog the Bounty Hunter's Fugitive Task Force that wants to meet Chris and Katie. Meanwhile, 5 days ago, so I don't think there's a date. Oh, yeah. There's a date. Saturday, 10:48 p.m. So it's now Wednesday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 4 days ago, this came out. Assuming that that's like 4 days ago Saturday and not like a year last March Saturday. So 4 days ago, right? Chris, Katie, and SF Investigates received this message from Dog the Bounty Hunter's High Risk Fugitive Task Force. Just 1 day before that, 5 days ago, so September 6th. When was September 6th? Hold on, let me get my calendar. September 6th. September 6th was Friday. So 1 day before this message was sent, Dog the Bounty Hunter was on Ashley Banfield saying this. Now let's listen. You'll all have heard this. If you saw my live stream from the other day, you'll definitely have heard this. But let's hear what Dog has to say. Seth and actually Sean, he's now changed his name, did you know? So Sean Rogers. And Tony didn't say anything. He's just there to be, pretty. He's just the eye candy. All right, let's listen.
Me to say this, and it's going to pain you to hear it, but there really are boogeymen out there. There really are. There are evil people who snatch kids away from the one place on earth that they should be completely safe. Their own beds. Just ask the parents of Elizabeth Smart. Just ask the parents of Jessica Lunsford or Polly Klaas or Madeline McCann. Those are kids who were tucked in tight 1 minute, gone the next.
That's all very well. But Dog the Bounty Hunter doesn't seem to believe that that's what happened to Sebastian.
Sometimes these kids make it home again. Think about Elizabeth Smart. Oftentimes, sadly, they do not. Always, though, the people who love them keep hoping. And when the headlines fade, the rest of the world moves on. But tonight, we are all hoping for the safe return of Sebastian Rogers. And if you have forgotten Sebastian, and I hope you have not, we are past the 6-month mark from the night that he went to bed back in February, but was gone by morning. And when I say gone, I mean gone. No notes, no leads. Sebastian's clothes, even his shoes, were still there. He's 15. He's from the Nashville area, and Sebastian has autism, which does not make the search or the investigation any easier. The Tennessee police and the FBI have been on the case from the start, but so far, nothing. The feds even put up a $50,000 reward for information leading to Sebastian Rogers.
Isn't it interesting that since the feds put the $50,000 reward up, Dog the Bounty Hunter's become interested? I just find that interesting. Is it a coincidence? Maybe it's a coincidence. Who knows?
Return. And now that reward has doubled to $100,000, thanks to America's most famous bounty hunter.
All right, who's actually paying this second $50,000? Because days before Dog the Bounty Hunter announced that he was now on the case, that his 24 investigators from the High Risk Fugitive Task Force were now on the case, Nick the Hat put on Twitter that he was going to pledge $25,000. So he'd up the reward to $75,000, 50,000 from the feds and 25 from Nick the Hat. And then magically it's become $100,000. Okay, all right. So $50,000. Do you truly believe that Nick and Dog would give $50,000 away? Do they even have? I mean, maybe Dog does. Maybe Dog has that money, but do you think he'd really give it away? Or does he want the $50,000 reward from the feds? I don't know. I'm just asking questions here.
Want to welcome back to the program Sebastian Rogers' father, Seth Rogers. And also with us is Tony Mathis. He speaks for the Rogers family during this emergency. And the man who now is on the Sebastian Rogers case, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Welcome to all three of you. Seth, I'll come to you first. We spoke, I think.
Dog owes $250,000 in back taxes. Well, what's another 50K? If you're that much in debt, what's another 50K? Doggy's broke. All right. Doggy's broke. Interesting then that there's a $50,000 reward up for grabs. And oh, look, he just happens to have a book out. Who'd have thought? He just happens to have a book out. Interesting. I got shades of Peter Falding going on here. Shades of Peter Falding.
10 weeks ago or so. And I just wanted to touch base with you. Have you had any updates, any news, anything at all that that feels promising?
We've had some, and we've had some tips. And I've passed them over to Sumner County and my private investigator that's working on it. But as for news from...
So who's this PI of Seth? I don't think we've heard who this PI is. You know, since he sacked Chloe, we're hearing about this unnamed PI. Is this PI a member of Dog's high-risk fugitive task force, or is this yet another person? Right? Is this just yet another person who is out there pretending to search? I don't know. Sumner County. No, I don't even know if they follow up with any of the tips we give them. Nina Glass. No. Please, no. Oh, probably Betty. Okay. Is she licensed? Is she a licensed PI in Tennessee? The man in black.
Can you share those tips publicly, or do you have to keep them under the vest, understandably?
I'm keeping them under the vest because if they are Sebastian, I don't want somebody that doesn't have his best interests following up on our lead.
By the way, Stephen Crabtree shares your location thoughts, Sebastian. My location thoughts. Oh, I see. Like where I think Sebastian's likely to be. Oh, good. Just common sense. It does coincide with SF Investigates maps, though. But SF has said that he thinks Sebastian's really close to home, which he may well be. But I don't know. I think he might have gone further. I think he could potentially have even got outside of that search radius. So, but yeah, very often missing people are found close to home. Very often.
Some people are doing leads and they don't even want to be involved in this case. And I can understand why. I mean, we've got people that are out here in the social media world that, you know, throw daggers at everybody that's helping me find Sebastian. And we've even had him go to jail now.
Dog.
Oh dear, woe is me. One of his team had to do 2 days in jail. Wow. She might be doing more in jail yet. Who knows?
jump in here. You know this blueprint, right? You know when a parent is trying everything. They're hiring their own people outside of the police. They're collecting tips. They're passing them on. They're processing. Where do you take this case now that you're on board? How do you do things differently? And since it's been 6 months plus, how do you even begin?
Well, we began at the very beginning. And because I'm not a real law enforcement officer, I can do a lot of things that law enforcement cannot do. And I don't break the law, but I will bend it till its fracturing point.
So he's going to bend the law to its fracturing point. So he says this on Friday, September 6th. One day later, Chris and Katie, plus SF investigators, who they believe is Chris and Katie's PI, get this message. I'm on Dog the Bounty Hunter's Irish Fugitive Task Force. I'll be in town Monday. It would help if I could coordinate with Mr. Fisher. Yeah, to meet up. So one day later, that message was sent. Bearing in mind, Dog the Bounty Hunter, one day previous, said, I bend the law to its fracturing point.
So it's very sad because in the very beginning, I thought Sean may be involved in some kind of...
Thought Sean might be involved. He thought Sean might be involved. Wow.
disappearance, or I thought the little boy was deceased. Days now into it, I have talked to Sean. I know that.
Talk to Sean. We got to talk to Sean. We've all got to talk to Sean. We've all got to talk to Sean.
He was working. This is his only child. I have 12. I've been through this before one of my daughters were killed, but this is amazing. I know that he had nothing to do with this. This guy can barely even talk without crying. I'm looking at him tonight and we're both, crybabies. I'm looking at him right there on your show and I'm like, I just want to start crying.
So they can be crybabies together, him and Sean. Who's Sean? Well, Dog the Bounty Hunter doesn't even know Seth's name. So twice, Dog the Bounty Hunter said Sean when he actually meant Seth. So he knows the case that well that he even knows the missing child's dad's name.
Listen, I'm going to hunt these people down. I think the boy is still alive. I'm telling you right now, Ashley, I think this little boy was stashed somewhere because custody was just going to get very soon, very, very soon. Mr. Rogers was going to get custody of his son. And I think there's so much jealousy. You know the old saying, if you can't have him, if I can't have him, nobody will have him. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here, is a domestic squabble over a child.
Thanks. So that's what Dog the Bounty Hunter believes. This was, in Dog the Bounty Hunter's own words, right? This is presumably what the 24 members of Dog the Bounty Hunter's high-risk fugitive task force are looking into, because they're not in the fields looking. They're not out there in the fields and the woods looking, because they believe that Sebastian's alive. They believe he was the victim of a domestic squabble. Well, who's the other parent? We've got Sean / Seth, who, according to Dog, was going to get custody of Sebastian. Actually, no, custody wasn't going to change. The custody agreement set forth by the court was a very loose one. It was up to them, between the three of them, they could work out where Sebastian lived and, who he spent most of his time with. The court didn't change. The court, nothing has changed legally about custody. I made this point, I hope I made this point abundantly clear the other day. Custody was not about to change. Dog is dead wrong. All that was going to change was Sebastian was going to live most of the time at Seth, and that was agreed. That was agreed by Chris and Seth. It was meant to happen last year, but Seth didn't want Sebastian then. He said he'd give Sebastian another year to improve his behaviour. Seth didn't want him a year ago. But now, Sebastian presumably hasn't changed his behaviour. His behaviour's got no better. Therefore, he's got to go to Seth for a punishment and do online school, which he did not want to do. Is Dog the Bounty Hunter aware that Sebastian did not want to go and live at Seth because he didn't want to do online school? He enjoyed living at his mother's where he could go to actual real school. All right. So Dog is dead wrong talking about a domestic squabble, saying, oh, well, one parent has said, you know, if I can't have him, no one's having him, and has stashed him somewhere. So when on Saturday, someone, an unnamed person from Dog the Bounty Hunter's high-risk fugitive task force, messages Chris and Katie and says, you know, I'll be in town on Monday, want to coordinate with your PI, Mr. Fisher. I find that a little bit concerning. I find that very concerning. Yeah. All right. Well, there we are. We're bang up to date. I'll be very, very interested on where this case goes next. But honestly, Sebastian, 15 years old, been missing since February 26th. 15 years old, 5'5", just under 120 pounds, brown hair. No sign of him. Sadly, he's in the middle of all this. And in my opinion, he's further away than ever. Because you've got these two sides, these battle lines. You've got Seth, who's leading up this charge against Katie. And if I was Katie, I'd be scared. I would be scared. Because these people, whoever these 24 investigators from the high-risk fugitive task force are, that are allegedly in Tennessee, you know, and they want to use truth serums and God knows what else. And then you've got orders of protection against, you know, look, it's all very concerning. And the person the person that's suffering the most here is Sebastian. He's been forgotten in his own missing persons case. This is all about, you know, one-upmanship now. Certainly from one side, at least, it's about one-upmanship. Scare tactics, exactly. Scare tactics. I don't like it. The bottom line is money. Absolutely, I agree with you, Michelle. Yeah, the bottom line is money. I find it very interesting that all of this has come to the fore. Dog the Bounty Hunter's crawled out from the woodwork. Once there's a $50,000 reward. Where was he before? And he's completely misunderstood the case. Completely misunderstood it. He's entitled to his opinion. Of course he is. He's entitled to his opinion, just like I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. But he's wrong. He's not basing his ideas on any facts. So who are these investigators that are working for him? These 24 investigators that are currently in Tennessee, but not in the fields. You're not going to find them out there searching, boots on the ground. The place where actually Sebastian might well be found if enough people went out there and looked in the right places. No. They're, I don't know, wherever they are, they're planning on truth serums and trying to solve this case that is a domestic squabble. And the victim, the real victim here, is actually Sean. He's actually Sean Rogers. Dog the Bounty Hunter can't even get Sebastian's dad's name right. That gives me a lot of faith in him as an investigator. Yeah. $2,000 and a book plug. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much she's being paid to appear on Ashley Banfield's show. I don't know, but yeah, he's got a book to sell, and that says it all for me. in my opinion. In my opinion, that says it all. That says it all. The whole motley crew was in court. They were. I showed it earlier. Let's put it back on here. Just for a second. Let's just show the motley crew. Just for one more second here. Hold on. Here's the motley crew. There they all are. There's Seth, Betty, Tony. And on the other side of the aisle, there was Chris, Katie, and the Bowersox. So he's the lawyer for Betty. He's the lawyer for the Proudfoots and the Bowersox. He's thinking, what on earth have I got myself into here? What on earth have I got myself into? You can't see it. Oh dear, hold on a minute. Sorry guys. There we go. All right. So yeah. So Betty's lawyer, who according to Betty, is on top of it all, and apparently she's going to win. And then this dude, who's the lawyer for the Proudfoots and the Bowersox. Oh dear. And I'm going to be very, very interested in what this judge makes of it all, where this goes from here. But I think SF Investigates is right that the judge ain't going to take too kindly to having his own order violated. So I don't honestly think it's going to work out too well for Betty. I don't think she's going to win. But there's Chris. Oh, he's changed so much. Just looks so different. It just looks, I don't know, it looks defeated. Katie's on one of these as well. There's the judge. I think Katie was kind of sat to the side of Chris, so I don't think she was actually caught on the court camera. But the news got her. And the Bowersox were also there.
And a missing boy's...
Hold on. There's Chris. Hold on, there's a better shot. There we go. Chris and Katie. They're just so over it, aren't they? Yeah, just really, they just look so sad. So sad. Anyway, guys, there we are. Where is Sebastian Rogers? Further away than ever. All right. Thank you all for joining me. Very kind. Thank you to those that donated early on in the live stream. Thank you to the people, especially people who are just constantly donating. I can't thank you enough. How generous people are on this channel. All donations welcome, obviously. However, if you can't afford to donate, doesn't matter. The two best things you can do to help this channel, or indeed any channel, are leave a like. So if you've not liked the live stream so far, leave a like on your way out. It just tells YouTube that it's of interest. It just boosts it up a little bit in the algorithm, and also sharing it. So just click the share button. Just go to the live stream, click the share button, and share it to any social media that you've got. Again, that sharing, just the act of sharing, tells YouTube that the live stream's of interest. But also, if you share it on your social media, then you might bring some new eyes to the channel. And yeah, those are the two things that you can do, and it will take you seconds to do it. So please do. If you enjoy my live streams, if you enjoy my videos, if you enjoy the channel generally, please do help me out in that way. Thank you all. Thanks as always to the mods who are always here. And yeah, I shall see you. Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. We've got some last minute donations. Last minute donations. I nearly missed them here. I nearly missed them. So we've got Electro, sorry, $2.99. Thank you so much. And we've got Bug Love, who's gifted 5 memberships. Let me just see if I can find who got them. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. We've got, oh, it's going too fast. We've got Lamala. I got Lamala. Oh no, maybe I can't. It won't let me scroll up. It won't let me scroll up. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you so much, Bug Love. And whoever got those, welcome. You get a monthly membership courtesy of Bug Love. So welcome everyone. Check out the members area. All right, enjoy the rest of your day or your evening, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.